Alright, we're now looking at target 7C, which is solving polynomial equations. So our math-targeting objective is I can find the zeros of a polynomial by using synthetic division. So the first thing is like what the root of a polynomial or the zero of a polynomial is. And the zero of a polynomial, or the root of a polynomial is the x value or values, right? You can have more than one. That cause the polynomial to equal 0. So if you plug a number in and you get 0 as the result, then that is a polynomial, or that is a root of the polynomial. It has lots of different names. It can also be called your x-intercept, which we've seen, right? So sometimes we'll refer to roots and x-intercepts are very similar. We'll also call these zeros or solutions. So anytime a question asks about any of these things, it's all really talking about the same thing. Alright, the first thing we're going to look at is two factoring problems. If you've been working on your factoring packet, then this will be easier. If you have not been working on your factoring packet, then we really need to work on that because with the next few things, it's a lot of factoring and distributing as well, which we do in the packet. So you really want to make sure you're working on those things. So x squared minus 2x minus 63 equals 0. Again, we multiply to this number and add to this number. Right? If you would like to use that x, right, we're multiplying to negative 63 and adding to negative 2. So we get the two numbers that multiply to negative 63 and add to negative 2 are negative 9 and positive 7. Negative 9 times 7 is negative 63. Negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. So over here I'll write x minus 9, x plus 7 equals 0. Then to solve for x, I'm just setting these equal 0 separately. X minus 9 either has to equal 0 or x plus 7 has to equal 0. So x equals 9 or x equals negative 7. Alright, we can do the very similar thing b, except for this one. Really, we multiply to 1 times negative 63. When there's no coefficient here, we kind of can ignore it because 1 times anything is itself. In this case, we can't. There's a 5 here. So 5 times negative 15 is negative 75. That's what you have to multiply by. Oh, there's a typo here because the problem doesn't work. I probably meant to change that earlier. Change this to 21. Okay, that is a typo. So that's what we're going to add to. Right. So what multiplies to negative 70? It's still not right. Negative 22. So I can't even read my own writing. Negative 22. I apologize. Okay, so that should be negative 22. We're just making that quick change. So your two numbers that multiply to negative 75 and add to negative 22 are negative 25 and positive 3. Alright, so then the second step we have to do when we have that number in front, right, there's one extra step, right, is we have to divide it back out. Right, we multiplied by this, and now we have to divide it back out. So negative 25 divided by 5 is just negative 5. 3 divided by 5, that 5 just has to slide out in front, remember, when we set up our problem. So we really have x minus 5, and then the 5 slides out, 5x plus 3 equals 0. Now, same thing, x minus 5 so that's x equals 5, just adding that 5. 5x equals negative 3. X equals negative 3/5. Alright. So we need to know factoring in order to solve polynomials because eventually we get to the step where we have to do factoring. I'm going to skip example 2 for right now. I'm going to go back to it after example 3. But it says if x minus 1 is a factor of x cubed minus 13x plus 12, find the remaining factors using algebra. Show your work. Okay? So x minus 1 is a factor. What do we know about a factor? Right? Kind of using the same idea from target B. Remainder is 0. Okay? So this is really x equals 1. Right? If you have x minus 1. So then I have x cubed plus, there's no x squareds. Again, make sure you're always paying attention to if you're missing anything. So 1, 0, negative 13, and 2. And then over here we put 1. We know we're going to want 0, right? So let's see if we get 0. Bring down your 1. That should be 12. I can't read. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, which is negative 12. 1 times negative 12 is negative 12, which is 0. Okay. So we did get 0, so I'm going to write our answer. Right? Again, we take out our first one, so I should start with x squared. So I have 1x squared plus 1x minus 12 equals 0. Okay. Now that I've taken out the factor that I already know, we can factor the remaining piece to get our other factors. I'll use the word factor a lot. So we are multiplying to this one, and we want to add to 1. We're looking for our two numbers that multiply negative 12 and add to positive 1. It's negative 4, positive 4, and negative 3. So our factors are x plus 4, x minus 3. Okay. Since I'm finding the remaining factors, these are our remaining factors. Okay. I don't have to solve because it's not asking for the solution. And that's it. So it's exactly what we've done so far, our synthetic division, and then you factor. Okay. Now let's look at example 2. Just wanted to do this. If x equals 5 is a 0 of 3x cubed minus 13x squared minus 11x plus 5, find the remaining zeros. So we have So I have 3, negative 13, negative 11, and 5. I already have x equals 5. I don't have to set x equal to anything. So just the 5 goes on the outside. Alright, and then doing our synthetic division, we bring down the 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Negative 13 plus 15 is 2. 2 is 10, which gives us negative 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And our remainder is 0. Okay, so the 0 acts like a factor. You should get a remainder of 0. Okay. Right, zeros, factors, all those things divided evenly. And again, we don't want to use our highest exponent, we want to use the next highest. So we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, right, coming from here. Factoring this. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then we have to add to 2. So our two numbers that add to negative 3, or multiply to negative 3 and add to 2 are 3 and negative 1. Right? 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 3 plus negative 1 is 2. And then you have to divide by that number. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. This one doesn't divide. So we're left with x plus 1 times, right, this slides out, x plus 1 times 3x minus 1 equals 0. So we want x plus 1 equals 0 and 3x minus 1 equals 0. Here I want to finish solving because it's asking for my zeros, not my factors. Okay, so if it starts with an x equals, you want to end with an x equals. If it just gives this, like the x minus 1, that's what you end with. Okay, so depending on what you started with, that's what you should end with. So then, x equals negative 1. And x equals 1/3, solving those. Okay, go ahead and turn the page. We're now looking at example 4. We have if x equals 3 and x equals negative 4. Our zeros. This page is like a train wreck, so we're going to be changing lots of things. On both of these problems, this polynomial, it doesn't work out, so I just changed it. So just go across that out. We're going to have x to the 4th minus 5x cubed minus 34x squared plus 56x plus 192. Alright, so change your polynomial. Find the remaining zeros using algebra. So, the only difference in this problem is we have 2 zeros that are given to us. So we set up the problem doing one at a time. So I'm going to grab my coefficients. I have 1, x to the 4th, negative 5, negative 34, 56, and 192. And we're going to put the 3 on the outside. So we bring down the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Add, we get negative 2, which is the negative 6. Negative 40, which is negative 120, which is 64. Negative 64. Which is, just making sure this works, which is negative 192, which is 0. Yay, it works. Okay. Okay, so we've now divided out our first 0. When we go to divide out our second 0, the easiest way is just to keep going. Alright, so I'm using these numbers, and I'm dividing by negative 4. You could write the new polynomial and then pull out the coefficients again, but all your coefficients are just sitting right here. So just keep using them. Now I'm going to pull down the 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, which is negative 6, which is 24. Negative 16. Negative 4 times negative 16 is positive 64, which is 0. So when I go to write this, I did my 1 division, my 2nd division. I'm now down to an x squared. So it's 1x squared minus 6x minus 16. Then, I'll show you underneath, right? Our multiplication, 1 times negative 16 is negative 16, negative 6, and we get negative 8 and positive 2. We get x minus 8, x plus 2. So x minus 8 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. So then we have our answers there. Alright, last problem. If x plus 1 and x plus 2 are factors of 2x, oh, we're changing this one completely too. New polynomial. Two x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 47x squared minus 104x minus 60. Okay. If I have x plus 1, then x equals negative 1. If I have x plus 2, x equals negative 2. So, setting up my synthetic division, we have 2, negative 1, negative 47, negative 104, negative 60. And first one is that negative 1 goes on the outside. Bring down the 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, which is negative 3. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3, which is negative 44. Negative 1 times negative 44 is 44. We add these, we get negative 60. Negative 1 times negative 60 is 60. Oh good, our remainder is 0. I now have to divide out my second 0, or my second factor. So negative 2 goes out here. And so to bring down the 2, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, which gives me negative 7. Negative 2 times negative 7 is 14, which gives me negative 30. Negative 2 times negative 30 is 60, which again gives me 0. So again, I divided once and twice. So we're now on our x squared term. So we have 2x squared minus 7x minus 30. This times this go here. So that's negative 60. And then negative 7 goes here. What multiplies to negative 60 but adds to negative 7? Your two numbers are 5 and negative 12. So a lot of that's just guess. A lot of that is just guess and check. Again, as you practice in that factoring I can't speak this morning. In that factoring packet, it will get easier. Okay. Then we have to divide by 2, right? Whatever number is out in front. If we multiply, we then have to divide. This doesn't simplify. This does simplify. So when we write our factors, any fractions slide out in front. This one is just x minus 6. It was just asking for factors, so we are done. Alright, I will see you guys tomorrow.